Good evening, everyone, and this is Janette, and welcome to D-Pop, and thank you very much for joining us tonight. My apologies at medyo na-delay yung pag-go live namin kanina kasi actually I was waiting for Jeoff Solas to join us. But unfortunately, si Jeoff kasi nasa Mega Mall area siya right now, and it seems yung kanyang internet connection uh, did not hold, no, yung kasi kanina pa siya nakaka-connect kaso medyo napipilit yung kanyang naiipit yung connection niya, so lagi siya nawawala. Anyway, let's move forward with our topic or session for tonight. Our topic for tonight is all about disaster preparedness. So I'd like to thank everyone, our viewers for tonight, who's joining us in this live session. At sana kung meron kayong mga inputs o meron kayong mga insights na gustong i-share tungkol sa discussion natin tonight, please don't hesitate to express them or to ask them and let us know about it so that we can tackle them as well. Dun sa online, no, lately, no, because of what happened to Glenda, we saw a lot of online initiatives. And in fact, I could say that the online community, especially those involved in these type of activities, have become more organized in doing so. And supposedly, Jeoff should be sharing to us some of the highlights that we saw online, no, yung mga spottings dun sa mga iba't ibang online initiatives. However, dahil di nga siya maka-join sa atin tonight, hindi natin mapapakita yung rundown, no? But nevertheless, what I would like to do is to emphasize on the other aspects, and these other aspects includes yung mga elements of disaster preparedness that is happening, no? Particularly, there are now a lot of companies and schools and critical establishments that are now running earthquake drills and doing a lot of safety checks, primarily because of the developments that I'm sure we've seen lately, where the Philippines is touted, no, as parang how do you call that, hinug na para mag-respond sa para magkaroon ng mga real disasters or upcoming disasters like earthquakes and the likes, no. Palagi natin sinasabi, palagi natin narinig yan. There's talk about the fault line being so hinug na sa atin, and it's like hindi naman talaga doomsday scenario, no. Pero parang it's like saying we're nearly 400 years itong last na earthquake na meron tayo na nangyari dun sa fault line na yon, and it's almost there na it's likely na magkakaroon daw na another earthquake in the next 3 to 5 years. And therefore, a lot of steps are being taken to prepare the public or to prepare the establishments insofar as this is concerned. And the primary preparedness right now is taking place in critical establishments and to regular business establishments so that they can be more effective in responding to situations like that, assist their employees, assist their customers, assist the public that they serve, rather than purely relying on government to help out in these type of situations. And when we talk about these situations, no, so of course, nandyan yung mga hotels, nandyan yung mga ospital, nandyan yung mga eskwelahan, no? And when we talk about these elements of disaster preparedness, yung mga talks nila na dun sa aspect ng, ready ba tayo for earthquake drill? Kaya ba nating kumilos at tapusin yung mga concerns natin in a very short span of time? Kaya ba natin na kung yung mga employees ba natin, can we help them? Can we help their families, no, among others? In fact, last week I was in Dagupan City, no, nung week lang pa lang to, no, tung Thursday and Friday. And yung isa sa mga fellow speakers ko doon, talked about ano yung mga preparations that they have done already, no? Kasi he works for the government, handling various government websites. And according to him, actually, para sa kanila daw, meron na raw silang parang tinatawag na doomsday, not really a doomsday scenario, pero they call it like a doomsday plan. And the doomsday plan is something like if disasters will hit us, and we go through an experience na mag-down ang internet natin, mag-down ang telecommunications network, therefore, wala kang means na makipag-keep in touch yung mga family members mo, saan kayo dapat makikita o saan kayo dapat pupunta. And I think that's very important. Of course, for those of us na naranasan pa yung mga panahon na ang landline is very limited and hardly cell phones exist and there's no internet, maybe medyo alam na natin experience na yon. Pero kawawa yung mga baguhan, no, na hindi pa siguro nila naranasan yung mawalan sila ng communication lines and particularly the internet to keep in touch. Therefore, kung mangyayari yung mga situations na yon, how are they going to best respond to it? So, it is suggested that yung mga establishments that, and of course, including the household, kailangan maging ready for that type of situations. Now, what I would like to do also is share to you a presentation file na nakita ko na meron ako na ito yung more or less tinakal din ni DILG Mar Roxas dun sa isang Disaster Preparedness Forum. And what I like about it dito sa presentation na to is yung more or less it gives us an idea kung gaano ba kalala, no, at kaya I mean yung pag hindi tayo ready, ano yung possible na maging problem natin for not being ready for these challenges. Okay, so I'm gonna go for a screen share so I can show my screen. Alright, so start natin screen share. Yun nga lang, no, mukhang yung aking PowerPoint medyo challenging siya at this point dahil hindi siya ganun medyo dapat yata na-restart ko siya kanina kasi pag piniplay ko siya mukhang nagka-crash siya. Pero anyway, ito yung mga primary points na sinabi ni Secretary Mar Roxas sa kanyang presentation sa Cebu. Sabi niya, yung mga destructive typhoons daw sa ating country, noong 2011 we have 19 typhoons or destructive typhoons, 2012, 16, and 2013, 11. Although mas konti yung 2011, pero when you look at the casualties, the dead, injured, and missing were far more higher, no? Nasa 36,262, and an economic damage of 99.9 billion. So, matindi, no? So, kung gaya ngayon na nasa typhoon season tayo, it is very important that we become very familiar as well dun sa flood early warning system. So, pag nakita natin, pag binigay sa ating warning system o sinabi ng warning system na yellow, naka-yellow alert, that means flooding is possible and there's heavy rains and we have to monitor the weather condition. If they reported or they gave the public an orange color-coded rainfall advisory, then it means that flooding is threatening and alert for possible evacuation. You're ready for it and you should know where to go. However, if red is given, then serious flooding is expected in low-lying areas. Therefore, the public is expected, or those affected should consider evacuating. Now, marami tayong public storm signals. Usually, what is reported is signal number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. So, pag sinabi sa ating signal number 1, winds of 60 kilometers per hour over 36 hours. So, we should monitor the news and check the structural integrity of our houses. And if it's signal number 2, that's 61 kilometers per hour to 100 kilometers per hour over 24 hours, we should protect our properties And if it's signal number 3, that's 101 to 185 kilometers per hour or over the span of 80 hours. And we should stay indoors and evacuate from low-lying areas. But if it's signal number 4, that's 185 kilometers per hour over 12 hours, we should evacuate to evacuation centers or make sure that we are in safe houses. And palagi natin, because of what happened to Yolanda, we are now more sensitive to storm surge or deluyong. So usually the normal sea level would look like the ones above. However, if it's a storm surge or it inundates the coast, meaning the water can go beyond the coast and it may result to flooding. Now, it depends on different locations in our country. During the forum in Cebu, Secretary Roxas emphasized which areas in Cebu had high landslide susceptibility and moderate landslide susceptibility. Also those that are in low landslide susceptibility. And there are also areas like the Lapu-Lapu City, like some areas in Lapu-Lapu City, which is high susceptible to flooding, although majority of the areas have low to moderate susceptibility to flooding. If you know which areas in your town or area are susceptible and non-susceptible to flooding, then you can more or less plan your travel or your movements, especially during the typhoon season or whenever there's heavy typhoon. Actually nga, minsan parang akala natin ganun-ganun lang yung typhoon, and di ba hugulat na lang tayo, biglang, wow, malala pala, no? What the government is actively promoting are sites like noaa.dost.gov.ph that allows the public to be aware or to be informed as to what is the situation of the typhoon in our country. So you can go to noaa.dost.gov.ph and you can download that app. You will be able to find out what are the typhoons in the Philippine area of responsibility. And then if usually when you review the report, when you see orange or red clouds forming, there is an upcoming typhoon. So here are some typical shots that were taken during the time of Yolanda and when Tropical Depression Pablo was also seen through the report of NOAA. So I think it is important that when if we are really concerned and if we really want to be ready, we should be downloading apps like NOAA and try to find out and be more sensitive on what is happening around us during times of calamities. Like for instance, you will be able to find out the likelihood of rain in your area. You can have a rain gauge report. Actually, ang dami nagko-contribute dito all over the country, no? Different branches of those who are involved in weather monitoring. They report the data, and then the data is posted and accessible by Project NOAA to give everyone the latest updates on the weather. It also gives a rainfall contour from torrential, intense, heavy, moderate, and none or light, and then how long is the rainfall. It will also give you an idea on real-time updating of accumulated rainfall that is happening in the country. And the percentage chance of rain also is being reported, so that for those of you who are planning your day and where to go, what to do, will more or less have an accurate estimate on the chance of rain. No? And the probability of rain as well is shown. Of course, ang challenge lang minsan sa mga weather forecast, no? Isa sasabihin sa atin, wala kasing ulan, then all of a sudden, hindi pala uulan ng malakas. I think sometimes that happens, although that is not really expected, but it can happen sometimes. So sabi ngayon na, ang life weather lang yan. Sabi nga ni one of those weather forecast reporters. So, siguro talagang kailangan lang mas mabuti pa rin yung mas maging informed tayo, maging aware tayo sa nangyayari kaysa naman sa totally clueless tayo or zero knowledge tayo as to what is happening. So, some of the checklists on what to do if you're going to be involved in disaster preparedness, especially if you're helping others. Bago bumaha, kailangan makinig tayo sa radyo o telebisyon tungkol sa panahon, maghanda sa pagdikas, pagtipunin ng pamilya at ihanda ang emergency supplies. Siguro kung talaga may mga kasamahan tayo sa bahay na nagtatrabaho, pumapasok sa eskwela, kailangan meron na tayong usapan na, ganito pag nagkaroon ng massive brownout o magkaroon ng massive na ulan at kung hindi possible na makauwi sa bahay or something really bad really happens, there is an agreement already on where you should meet and where you should go, so that you can either go on those points and look for the people that you care for, no? So yun ang parang pinaka-suggested. Habang bumabaha, iwasan ng mga lugar na may tubig baha, manatili sa mataas na lugar, iwasan lumusong o maglakad sa baha o tansyahin muna ang lakas ng agos at lalim ng tubig. Huwag payagang maglaro ang mga bata sa baha at huwag nang piliting tawirin ang baha gamit ang sasakyan. Maging mapagbatyag at alerto sa paligid. Siguro, dapat din siguro kung yung mga offices natin, i-entertain na rin talaga nila yung possibility na pwedeng yung mga tao nila ay mag-work din from home, no? Lalo na kung kaya naman talagang gawin ito at i-coordinate over the internet para i-priority natin yung kaligtasan ng mga tao nagtatrabaho sa atin. Sa mga paaralan, siguro panahon na rin na tignan nila yung mga online learning tools, kagaya ng mga webinars o mga e-learning applications, at unti-unti na rin nilang sanayin yung mga bata at pati yung mga teachers na nagko-conduct ng lessons sa pamamagitan nito kahit na once a week hanggang sa mas ma-harness na nila ito para kung talagang may mga kakaibang sitwasyon o mas may expand din nila yung gamit ng program, lalo na kung magkakaroon sila ng mga guest resource persons at kung ano-ano pa. Kasi syempre, kawawa rin naman yung mga bata, di ba? If they get stuck sa flooding, no? Hindi sila makauwi, their parents get worried. Kaya nga, pag sinabihan kami ng kasama sa bahay na may exam kami, kailan sa online exam namin. Okay na ako ron kasi mas gugustuhin ko pa mag-exam na lang siya online kaysa pumunta pa siya, lalo na kung hindi maganda ang panahon. Of course, pagkupa ng baha, hintayin ng opisyal na advisory na ligtas na ang inyong lugar bago umuwi. Bago pumasok sa inyong bahay, suriin kung may anumang bagay na maaari makapagpahama. Yaking tuyo ang mga saksakan ng kuryente bago gamitin. Ipagbigay alam sa pinakamalapit na electric company ang anumang surang linya ng kuryente. Magsuot ng protective gear habang nililinis ang mga kagamitan at yaking malinis at ligtas ang inuming tubig. Pakuluan kung kinakailangan. Doon sa mga nabiktima sa atin ng Typhoon Glenda at to the point na nawalan tayo ng kuryente, kutusin para nakakapanibago. At that time, para pakiramdam ko, para tayong, at least ngayon, parang naramdaman mo na yung feeling na kung diba, there was a time na talaga matindi yung power crisis sa Mindanao na everyday, meron silang brownout ng mga ilang probinsya doon. And it has become part of their daily lives. And then tayo, kutusin, dahil lang dun sa nangyari sa Glenda, na-experience din natin yun for a few days. And it is indeed quite a challenge, no? Kaya, nung mga nangyari yung mga panahon na yon, of course, andun din yung pressure na mas planuhin mo yung trabaho mo kasi talaga magkakaroon ka ng downtime. And siguro nag-iisip din tayo ng mga alternative sources of energy. Maybe ito na rin yung mga panahon na dapat mag-invest tayo sa mga alternative forms of energy kagaya ng solar power at kung ano-ano pa, lalo na kung nakikita natin na mas gugustuhin natin maging handa at unti-unti ng pag-ipunan yung mga ganung bagay. At kahit paano, pwede rin naman natin siyang gamitin sa pang-araw-araw. Lalo na kung hangarin natin ay makatipid-tipid din sa gastos natin sa kuryente. No? So, kailangan natin ng isang family disaster plan according sa DILG or the Department of Interior and Local Government. Tiyaking matibay ang bahay. Kailangan din natin siguraduhin na ligtas ang mga lugar sa bahay. Tukuyin natin ang peligrosong lugar sa inyong bahay at ituro sa bawat miyembro ng pamilya, lalo na sa mga bata, kung ano-ano ang mga panganib sa lugar at kung paano makakaligtas sa mga ito. At dapat alam ng buong pamilya ang family evacuation plan. Regular na magsagawa ng evacuation drill sa tahanan. Siguro, kailangan maging malinaw sa atin sa bahay o pag lumindol, ganito gagawin mo. kung may mga importanteng dokumento na dapat pick upin, siguro ilagay na natin siya hanggang maaga sa isang lugar para kung ano't ano man mangyari, pwede itong kunin. Ganun din, protektahan natin yung mga bahay natin, no? Kung kailangan insure natin siya, pero siguro kailangan siguraduhin natin nakasama sa coverage yung mga yung natural calamities para kahit paano madali ka makaka-recover. Magkaroon tayo ng standby fund kung magiging down ang ATM natin, then ibig sabihin kahit paano meron tayong reasonable resources sa mga bulsa natin at siguraduhin natin na palagi tayong may nakatabing pagkain sa bahay na good for 1 week or 2 weeks. So, pwedeng kung hindi na kayo ganong palakain ng delata, actually gaya kami, no? Hindi kami palakain ng delata, pero siguro kung gusto mo na maging ready sa disaster, then kahit paano pwede siguro bumili ka, and then talaga itabi mo lang siya at gamitin kung kinakailangan. Kasi ito yung period ng typhoon itong darating na buwan na to. So dapat itong mga darating na buwan hanggang November. So as much as possible talaga, napaka-importante na maging ready tayo sa ano mang mga pangyayari. Yung alam din natin kung ano yung mga plano ng barangay, alam din natin kung saan tayo pupunta. Of course, kung merong mga masasaktan, then siguraduhin natin na yung community natin, may yung mga tanod natin, may capacity rin makapag-render ng first aid at kung ano-ano pa mga serbisyo maaring kailangan ng isang lugar. Hindi lang tayo dapat maghanda para sa ating sarili, pero i-encourage din natin na yung mga kasama natin sa komunidad maging handa rin. Kasi we're all part of a community, no? At napaka-importante na maging handa tayo as a community. Tukuyin ang inyong tagpuan kung sakali magkakahiwalay ang inyong pamilya, lalo na yung mga nagtatrabaho at pumupunta sa mga ibang lugar. Kaya kung tutusin, gaya sa amin, we really prioritize getting only opportunities that will allow us to work from home. Kasi parang ang hirap bumiyahe, ang layo-layo, tapos lang na pag masama ang panahon, parang ang laking inconvenience niya. So as much as possible siguro, yung mga bata hanggat maaari, pag-aralin natin sila sa mga lugar na malapit sa bahay para mas masiguro na kung ano-ano man ang maging disasters, madali sila makakauwi kahit na maglakad sila kung kinakailangan o mas madali silang puntahan na hindi ka gaano mag-aalala kasi mas malayo sila sa iyo, then kung mag-down ang communication lines, then mas lalo kang mag-aalala dahil hindi mo sila makukontak. Kung talagang hindi maiwasan na malayo sila sa inyo, then siguro talagang magkaroon kayo ng usapan kung saan kayo dapat magtatagpo. Alamin na ligtas na daan o kalsadang palabas at pasok sa inyong lugar kung kinakailangan lumigas. Depende sa mga lugar, no? Pero gaya sa amin, usually kung gusto namin makalabas sa area namin, there are 3 points of exits para makapunta sa main road at hindi isa lang. Malaking bagay yon kasi ibig sabihin kung down yung isa at kailangan mo para may backdoor ka kung saan ka makakalabas sa subdivision nyo o kung saan man kayo nakatira, then dapat malaman nyo siya. Kasi kung isa lang ang point of exit mo, tapos kung yung point of exit mo, yun, biglang bahain, or something bad really happens, then mapupunta ka sa isang isolated area, para magiging isolated area situation ka, at kung hindi ka handa, then mas malaki yung chances na mas magkakagulo, no? Alamin ang mga sasakyan na maaring magamit kung kinakailangan lumikas. So, depende siguro kung ano yung mga gamit nyo, no? So, pwede may sasakyan, kung talagang kailangan maglakad, then wala tayong choice siguro. Kung may mga bisikleta tayo, then pwede din natin silang gamitin, lalo na kung possible yung mga areas. Maliban sa evacuation center, alamin ang iba pang ligtas ng lugar na pansamantalang malilikasan kapag may kalamidad, at alamin ang mga mahalagang contact number tulad ng emergency hotline ng barangay, munisipyo, pulis, bumbero, at mga malalapit na kamag-anak at iba pa. Dapat yung mga, kung kayo nakatira sa isang subdivision, usually yung mga guards natin may kanyang information. Pero syempre, kung kayo alam nyo, mas mabuti rin. Ang challenge nga lang sa mga public numbers, during time of disasters, everyone is trying to contact them. So, medyo competitive nga lang siya. So, siguro doon din makakatulong yung alam natin yung gamit ng internet at kung saan tayo pupunta para humingi ng tulong o kung kanino tayo magte-text para makahingi ng tulong. Kung yung mga anak nyo ay nag-aaral pa, importanteng alamin nyo kung ano ang disaster plan ng inyong mga eskwelahan. Kung wala pa sila, dapat tayo mag-worry kung wala pa silang disaster plan. Kasi ibig sabihin, pwede may mangyari and then all of a sudden, yung mga estudyante, mga mag-aaral, nasa loob sila ng eskwelahan. At kung hindi sila basta-basta makakalabas, kailangan yung eskwelahan, ready rin sila i-take care yung mga taong nasa loob ng kanilang lugar. So, as much as possible, be informed and be concerned at tulungan din natin na yung ating mga paaralan ay magkaroon ng disaster plan at ma-implement ito na maaga. Alamin din kung ano ang plano ng government at ano ang plano ng Disaster Risk Reduction Management Office sa inyong lugar. Kung wala, pwede kayong tumawag sa 0917-627-6927 para magtanong o pumunta kayo sa website ng dilg.gov.ph. So, sinasabi nga nila, pwede rin tayong tumawag sa Patrol 117. Pwede tayong, meron silang programa na act among themselves, working with various LGUs. And that is to alert, to communicate, and to ensure that there will be teamwork. So, kung tayo ay magiging ready for disasters, then pwede tayo mas magkaroon ng safer communities, at kung safe communities, mas maliligtas ang buhay natin. No? Sa anumang kalamidad, sabi nga ng DILG, naalala ko itong closing statement ito, supposedly, ang role ng government at ang from national to LGU and to various law enforcement agencies is para mag-guide tayong lahat at hindi tayo pabayaan. At tayo rin siguro, dapat maganda rin tayo. Huwag natin pabayaan ang ating sarili at pabayaan yung mga kasama natin sa komunidad natin. Sabi nga dito, walang iwanan. Merong ginawa ang government din na initiative na kung saan they released this LGU Disaster Preparedness Journal na nirelease ng Local Government Academy. So, i-open ko lang siya. Teka, balik tayo ulit sa akin. Of course, maraming salamat doon sa mga nanonood sa ating ngayong gabi. Kung gusto nyo magtanong, pwede kayong mag-type ng inyong questions. Yun nga lang, kaya lang, I just realized hindi ko pala na-enable yung ating Q&A. So, I'm sorry about that. So, for those of you who are looking for Jeoff Solas, unfortunately, he's having difficulty joining us tonight kasi medyo hindi naging ganun ka-stable yung kanyang connection. But nevertheless, we hope to continue with our topic on disaster preparedness because we believe that this is really a very serious and very important topic na hindi sapat yung isang episode lang ang gagamitin para mapag-usapan siya, no? So, we hope to be able to tackle this better. Okay, so tuloy natin yung ating ano ba yung may expect natin na gagawin ng mga LGUs kapag magkakaroon ng disaster. So, meron ako i-share sa inyo. Ito yung Disaster Preparedness Journal na nakita natin. At screen share ko siya. Hold on. Okay. Yan. Full screen lang ako. Ayan. Ito yung LGU Disaster Preparedness Journal na actually downloadable na siya sa Local Government Academy or LGA. So this is a checklist of minimum action that we can expect from mayors. And I'm sure baka may mas updated version na ito, pero maganda rin. Pero it's nice kita natin kung ano yung planong gawin ng government at ng LGU kapag merong mga kalamidad. Ano ang role ng mga mayors pagdating sa disaster management. And according dito, ang mayor daw ang nag-chair ng Local Disaster Risk Reduction Risk Management Council sa kanyang lugar. At ito ang kanyang role: approve, test, monitor, and review reevaluate the implementation of the LDRRMPs. Siguro yan yung Local Disaster Risk Reduction Risk Management Plan. Ensure the integration of a disaster risk reduction and climate change adoption into local government development plans. Recommend the implementation of forced or preemptive evacuation of local residents and convene the local council once every 3 months as necessary. So, pero silang tinatawag na LGU Preparedness Action Flow na may expect natin. No? So, siguro para makita natin siya, ito yung required na checklist for early preparedness action. Ang DRRM action flow for early preparedness. So, kailangan nila mag-create ng structures and systems para ma-mobilize nila. They have to create the structures and systems, institutionalized policies and plans, and they have to make sure to build the competencies of created structures through various training and complement the competency by purchasing and preparing the needed hardware and supplies. Of course, nandiyan na siguro yung mga boats, no, at anything, first aid kits, at kung ano-ano pa. No? So, in creating the structures and systems, yan, kailangan meron daw yan existing sa local level, no? Yung council, no? Yung office, local disaster risk reduction management council and office, community of disaster volunteers, local chamber of commerce and network of local businesses. So, kailangan existing siya. Kasi importante ang role ng private sector at ng mga individuals. Mahirap kung iaasa natin lahat yan sa government. Pagdating sa evacuation and relief, pwedeng i-direct ang DRRMO at mga municipal engineers to designate evacuation centers and direct the municipal engineer to put up signs and directions going to evacuation center, put up security posts, designate shelter for livestock, and designate evaluation centers for prisoners if the prison is vulnerable to hazard. At kailangan din nila mag-institutionalize ng policies and plans for early warning. This includes yung kanilang communication protocol. And they should prepare templates for suspension of classes, work, fishing, sea voyage, preemptive evacuation, at declaration ng state of calamity. Kailangan din nila mag-mobilize ng DRRM structures and activation of systems and processes. Katulad ng pag-assign ng resolution para mag-create yung mga bodies na yon, mag-create ng posisyon para sa isang officer at staff, at 3 staff para mag-work at mag-focus dito. I-direct ang punong barangays para magkaroon din sila ng barangay disaster risk management and risk reduction management council. Kailangan din nila magkaroon ng memorandum of agreement between supermarkets, for the relief goods and other supplies, funeral parlors for the management of the dead, volunteer groups, mobilization for various operations, transportation groups, pharmacies, hospitals, telecommunication companies, local cable and radio, warehouses, water cooperatives, and electric cooperatives. Maganda yung magkaroon na as early as possible ng mga agreements kung ano yung mga dapat gawin pag dumating yung disaster para everyone is on the same page. Mahirap kung magre-ready ang government, tapos lumalabas yung mga private sector groups pala, hindi naman nila kaya maging ready, and all of a sudden, pag kailangan na natin silang asahan, hindi naman sila ready para mag-respond. So, role ng local government na isigurado na makipag-coordinate sa mga iba't ibang private businesses na nasa sakupan sa lugar niya na maging handa sa mga ganitong sitwasyon. Kailangan din nila mag-establish na memorandum of agreement between humanitarian organizations at faith-based organizations kasi sila yung may mga lugar na maaari ring gamitin for evacuation. At direct ang administrator to buy insurance for the service sponsors. Kailangan din nila mag-mobilize sa mobilization din, kailangan din nila magkaroon ng MOA between heavy equipment operators for search and rescue, gasoline stations, other business organizations, other LGUs, at sa mga barangay. Kailangan din nila mag-sign ng resolution tungkol sa pagka-cancel ng travel authority ng mga DRM and responders and teams. a direct administrator to prepare a template for reporting and cancellation of travel authority, at pag-prepare ng iba't pang mga plans. So, required din sila na mag-build ng competencies. Ito yung pagkakaroon ng training sa mga tao pagdating sa risk communication, media management, para mas madali ma-communicate ang mga situations. Disaster Risk Reduction Management 101, pag-conduct ng hazard risk assessment, climate and weather forecast, warning monitoring. Kailangan din nila magkaroon ng training on camp management, infra-audit, at pagdating sa evacuation relief. Pagdating sa mobilization ng disaster risk reduction management structures and activation of systems and processes, marami pa sila mga ibang training katulad ng alliance building, community-based monitoring system. Pagdating sa search and rescue, yung flood, swift water search and rescue, and basic life support or first aid. Kailangan din nila pagdating sa lifelines para matuloy makapagpamuhay yung mga negosyo natin at yung mga nagtatrabaho sa atin. Kailangan magkaroon din tayo ng livelihood training, business continuity planning, at kung ano-ano pa. Kailangan din na ang mga local government units ay makapag-equip ng hardware and supplies. So, kailangan nilang magkaroon ng early warning equipments, including batingaw or any indigenous alarm system, megaphone, public service announcement equipment with sirens, satellite phones, handheld radios, rain gauge, water level markers, wind vane, and bells, no? Pwede rin nilang gamitin yung church bell ng local simbahan para gamitin siya as an alarm to the community at i-coordinate sa barangay, no? Lalo na pag narinig na yung bell, ano ibig sabihin nun? They can also direct the municipal engineer to create and designate public weather bulletin boards and an area for press conference and briefing. At kailangan available sa kanila ang mga hazard and risk maps ng kanilang mga lugar. Sa evacuation and relief, instruct po ng barangays to make sure that every household has an emergency balde. If yung mga, meron silang ginawa kung ano yung mga laman ng emergency balde na para masabi na ready ang isang family pagdating sa disasters, katulad ng flashlight, first aid kit, at kung ano-ano pa, no? Instruct also the DRRMO to purchase and prepare the following: tents, medical supplies, blanket, mosquito nets, and portalets, at kung ano-ano pa. Pagdating sa search and rescue, yan, kailangan nila magkaroon ng area for heli base at kailangan din nila magkaroon ng access to response equipment like heavy equipment for cleaning operation, kaya makikipag-coordinate na sila as early as now for sa mga heavy equipment operators and have a MOA, at instruct the administrator to purchase and prepare mobile water treatment, lalo na kung magkaroon tayo ng issue sa tubig, generator, emergency light, at solar power generator and panel. During critical periods, these are the flow during the critical periods that are expected. So, kung ano yung mga inaasahan nating pwede mangyari, no? So, yellow response means you do this. Orange response means you've done all of them, plus. Red response means you've done of the orange and yellow and plus. So, yun, nakalagay dyan, pagdating sa DOST Pag-asa, they have issued typhoon advisory and issued typhoon alert. And then, mag-issue rin sila ng typhoon, indicative typhoon path. Kung mag-i-issue sila ng mga signal number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 na warnings. At sila rin yung pwedeng mag-lift ng tinatawag nating storm signal. Pwede rin si DOST Pag-asa mag-i-issue siya ng gale warning. Sa mga action areas, pagdating na early warning, yung mga LGUs natin o yung mga government agencies natin, they will keep the public informed, aware, and alert. So, on day -6, -5, they will be continuous monitoring of weather bulletin and giving of public information. No, yung may darating tayong bagyo next week, di ba? Kaya ngayon maaga sila mag-warning, di ba? Parang sa weekend pa darating yung bagyo, pero alam na natin ngayon. Kasi nga, para ma-prepare tayo. On day 4, they have to put up early warning systems and signs. At At kung kinakailangan, kung dumating na yung bagyo at matindi ang maging hagupit niya, pwede siya mag-declare ng state of calamity. Pagdating sa mobilization ng DRRM, nakalagay dyan, they should convene the council and the office and meeting with various key stakeholders, lalo na kung medyo mataas yung expected. At of course, nandun din yung ready ba tayo kung sakali mangyayari siya. No? Repositioning of needed resources dun sa day 4, and deployment of security teams and volunteer groups on day -3. No? And then, nilagay din dyan yung pagdating sa evacuation and relief, prepare and secure the facilities to protect the public. And that is preparing the evacuation centers 4 days before the typhoon, preemptive evacuation and relief distribution kung kinakailangan. At kung talaga nandiyan na yung bagyo at nakita malala siya, pwedeng a day before, i-force na kagad yung issue na evacuation sa community. During search and rescue, yung search and rescue team must be on standby at least a day before kasi kung talagang magkakaroon ng forced evacuation, sila mag-implement nun. Pagdating sa mga lifelines, dapat 4 days before, naka-monitor na kagad ang mga presyo at siguraduhin na hindi ito tataas, lalong na pagdating sa mga critical periods. So, trigger pag-asa advisories, usually yung mga typhoons outside of the Philippine area of responsibilities are assigned to national media newscast, radio, at pagdating na rin sa mga websites. Pwede rin i-update yung mga mobile applications kagaya ng Project Batingaw, NOAA, and I Am Ready ng GMA. And local advisories and warnings are made available if available, and who should be the point of contact for any question. For early warning, this is what we can expect from the DRRMO and EOC to do. Check regularly, disseminate public info, inform punong barangays on the advisory, and direct punong barangays. Supposedly, hindi pwedeng sabihin ng LGU at punong barangay na hindi sila informed kasi ito na yung standard procedure kung paano i-inform in advance ang mga iba't ibang lugar pagdating sa mga typhoon advisory. Kailangan din i-convene ang DRRMC o yung council within 24 hours upon issuance of advisory para malaman na nila ang typhoon path, ano ang tatamaan ng area, ano yung mga dapat gawin na paghahanda at para pagdating ng bagyo, alam na lahat kung ano ang dapat gawin. Bigyan din ng instruction ang mga police para sa delivery at the BFE for the delivery supply of potable water to provide status updates of public safety. Si municipal engineer, kailangan din niyang magbigay ng update sa readiness ng personnel and equipment at siguraduhin na yung mga lugar na nasasakupan nila ay maging handa sa mga panahon na ito. And heads and managers of local public utilities, water and energy to activate the contingency plan and provide updates to the mayor. Kaya di ba, monitor nila yung water level, monitor yung kuryente at kung ano pa, at dapat makipag-coordinate kung ano ang sitwasyon. And pwede rin namang i-cancel yung administrators, pwede siya mag-cancel ng travel authority kung kinakailangan para maprotektahan yung mga taong nagtatrabaho sa gobyerno, no? At makikita natin na very detailed yung mobilization plan. Of course, pinaplanuhan to, checklist siya, kaya importante na kailangan talaga gawin ito ng mga nasa local government units natin. Ang kagandahan ng ginawa ng DILG na itong checklist action plan na ginagawa ng mga mayors na maging available sa kanilang website para yung mga tao sa komunidad, more or less, alam niya kung ano yung plano ng government at kung ito ay existing na ginagawa ngayon sa ating mga local governments. At hindi tayo makikipag-in touch. For evacuation and relief, they should be able to direct the municipal, city, social development worker to assess the population size that will be affected para siguro sa scoping na rin ng mga resources lang doon sa mga vulnerable areas at mag-issue siya ng mga authorities na kailangan para maging ready yung mga iba't ibang taong magiging involved. At pati na rin pagdating sa lifeline, no? Nakalagay dyan yung meet with the community, the NGOs, and the private groups that all lifeline services are functional, order municipal engineer to assess status of water and electrical service, coordinate with LGUs that have mobile water treatment and equipment. para pwede siyang gamitin o hiramin. Dahil kung wala yan, malaking problema yon. No? So, kailangan ready yan beforehand. Pagdating sa pag-asa alert, so makikita rin natin kung ano yung mga dapat nilang gawin from early warning, kung kailangan mag-issue ng suspension ng classes, gagawin na nila. At pwede sila mag-activate din ng interbarangay bayanihan and coordination system para magtulungan. Okay? At nandito rin mapapansin natin sa lifeline yung pag-meet sa mga transport groups, telecoms, and business groups for continuity of services during calamity and for livelihood opportunities to disaster to survivors. No? Maging ready to offer such. Kung dumating na yung pag-asa alert sa 4 days before the typhoon, kailangan naka-activate na yung flood early warning system, give warning levels, and i-prepare na yung search and rescue team. At maging ready na yung mga resources, mga cash advances at kung ano-ano pa para pag dumating na yung time na yun, may budget na kung ano yung mga kailangan bilhin. 3 days before, so tuloy-tuloy pa rin, yan doon pa rin yung kung kinakailangan mag-issue ng suspension of classes, pwede pa rin nilang gawin during this period. And they should also start monitoring occurrence of gender-based violence in affected areas because usually, in a weird way, marami rin mga nangyayaring violence sa mga ganitong panahon na to, lalo na sa ating mga kababaihan at sa mga bata. No? Kaya kailangan i-monitor to. Pagdating naman sa mga lifeline natin, they should issue executive orders to barangay health workers for deployment to affected areas. At maging ready na sila to distribute relief packs. Yan. So, makikita nyo na kung tutusin, paganda yung ginawa ngayon, no, na mas naging clear. And in fact, nagkaroon pa sila ng mga iba't ibang seminars and workshops to prepare the various local government agencies and barangays. Siguro talagang naging malaki ang epekto sa atin ng mga bagyong kagaya ng Ondoy at Yolanda na talagang naging very critical na tayo ay maging ready sa mga ganitong sitwasyon at hindi lang na ito ay hindi pwedeng iasa lang sa national government, malaki ang papel ng local government at pati na rin yung mga communities na dapat niyang coordinatan para lahat ay maging handa, no? At makapag-contribute sa ganitong mga bagay. Okay. So, I know that for some of you, I know you're looking for Jeoff right now, but unfortunately, he can't join us dahil medyo challenging ang kanyang internet connection sa Mega Mall right now. But definitely, in the next Sunday episode of DPAP, we hope to have Jeoff back then at itutuloy pa natin yung ating discussion sa usapin ng disaster preparedness. So maraming salamat sa inyong pakikinig ngayong gabi at kailangan talaga tayo ay maging handa, tayo ay maging ready. Ito na yung mga panahon na hindi natin dapat isaalang-alang ang pagiging handa sa mga disaster at siguraduhin natin syempre na in touch tayo sa ating mga mahal sa buhay at yung mga resources natin, kailangan nakahanda siya. At para kung kinakailangan gamitin ito, magagawa natin yun. So, maraming salamat sa pag-tune in sa ating ngayong gabi dito sa usapin natin tungkol sa disaster preparedness here at DPOP. And for our next week, we hope to continue another episode. We hope to do another episode on disaster preparedness, and we can expect more from Jeoff on what we are seeing online in so far as reporting and coordination in the area of disaster preparedness is concerned. No? So maraming salamat ulit and have a great Sunday evening and have a great week ahead. Maraming salamat po. Bye!